As readers of the print, you must have come across a term that's Tianxia. It's a very popular term which is quite often discussed in terms of China's past hegemonic order in East Asia. And some writers have suggested that China is now trying to revive the idea of Tianxia by bringing about the Belt and Road Initiative by kind of creating interdependencies between nation states. But I think that topic or that concept kind of misses what China is trying to do. So therefore I look at a different Chinese character, that's Ba, and this character in particular translates roughly as hegemony in English. So this particular Chinese character looks at how there could be a hierarchical relationship between nation states resulting from the interaction. So hegemony may not be the ultimate goal, but that's the second order effect you get from the ordering between nation states. So China is hoping to create its own kind of hegemony based on this concept. So therefore, I personally don't believe that Tianxia or the old idea of tributary system between nation states can be revived in East Asia. So instead, China has a goal of creating an ordering effect where China is at the top of the league and other East Asian nation states, as well as other Asian countries, are below in the ordering of that between nation states. And therefore we should look at China's interest in reforming international order or even transforming it through that lens instead of thinking about relations between state through this prism of Tianxia. But then how does Beijing want to transform the international order according to its interest, as well as establish a ordering effect which allows China to be the hegemonic country in East Asia? China is doing this by a few things, a few actions that we've seen in the past days, by acting as a disruptive player in international politics. One of the things that we've seen is China has tried to soften the blow towards Russia after the Ukraine war. We saw with the case of United Nations Food Program, which has the chief who is Chinese himself, and this person tried to kind of bring down the criticism that was targeted at Russia. So the attempt was to soften the blow and to allow Russia to do what they're doing without really making China the enemy in the process. And that's what they've been doing by kind of targeting certain countries and reaching out to countries who could be, allies who have some sort of discord with other countries, especially US, UK, and other European countries. And China tries to look for these nation states who might be willing to work with China to become part of the disruptive process. And that's what Chinese are good at. So therefore, if we want to understand how China seeks to establish hegemony in the region as well as transform the world order, we'll have to examine its action at very granular level, especially at the UN, as well as what we saw in Uzbekistan when Xi Jinping went to the SCO by reaching out to these SCO countries, and how she wants to bring them on board and create a disruptive phenomenon which challenges the existing international order. So besides these kind of disruptive activities, Beijing is also offering a new notion of security with the Global Security Initiative. This is one of the initiatives that has come up in recent days, and Chinese diplomats are now trying to sell the idea of Global Security Initiative by talking about non-traditional security issues like terrorism, as well as the pandemic. And the main goal behind promoting the initiative is to kind of get off the hook by focusing on these topics and kind of shift the attention that there has been in terms of China's own behavior, and kind of bringing countries around this idea of fighting the pandemic, as well as other non-traditional security issues like terrorism. And this is the kind of idea that Beijing is offering, where the countries are being told that you don't have to interfere in each other's affairs, and certain countries, within Central Asian region, like Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, which have kind of very dubious human rights record, like this idea, and they think that they would like to adopt China's vision. We don't know exactly how this global security initiative will pan out over the next weeks to months to years, but based on some of the analysis published by experts, we get to understand that there is going to be quite a bit of push by the Chinese diplomats at the UN and other forums, where they will hope to embed the Chinese idea of state sovereignty, and which ultimately hopes to kind of transform the international order, which is more in line with China's own interests, and moving away from the kind of values-based international order that we have at the moment. And that's the effect that China wants to create by transforming the world order, and that's the vision Beijing is working with.